Now it's yeah, it's like at this time, I'd like to call the August 17th, 2023 regular meeting of the Common Council to order. It is now 5:01 p.m. Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Now take a roll call. Councilor Vaughn.
Here.
Councilor Kelly here. Councilor Gibbs.
Here.
Councilor Pound.
Here.
Councilor Vaughn has been excused. Councilor Moore.
Here.
And I am present as well. All councilors have received the minutes of the August 3rd, 2023 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Pound. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged when called upon. We do ask that you please state your legal name and address for the records.
Martha Stratt, and I'm here regarding the Airbnbs that are existing in our town. Grabbing the next silver bullet is what I call it. Apparently, they're applying for a permit to purchase a home to be used as an Airbnb is like grabbing the next silver bullet at the expense of compromising residential neighborhoods, the safety of our children and our school system, and at no profit expected to city finances. Why? Airbnb is a high margin tech company that provides the marketplace, which connects travelers with hosts, and it takes a cut of the transactions. Since it is a tech business but doesn't own the properties, it will mandate rules and restrictions to follow, but takes no responsibility into checking for non-conformance. It leaves that to our city zoning enforcement, and other than acceptable parking areas, our zoning officers cannot check either. Warrants cannot be issued, leaving much to be unchecked. Things like site plans, fire safety plans, code compliance. Plattsburgh does not even have a city code. How do permits and registrations and licenses be approved? They also concerned about necessary emergency exits, and that can't be checked either. If those who have purchased homes for the purpose of increasing their income had inquired about the legal status of airports, the many stipulations that have to be in conformance, and the fact that neighbors might be concerned that Airbnb or the city zoning laws or lack thereof cannot be checked or verified, even with a warrant, they might have reconsidered. Recently, I was in Monty Street section where our largest school district exists. I thought as I passed through how well kept up some of those smaller homes were. There was one home, however, larger than the others that might meet the needs of some investors in Airbnb. It was right next to the school and certainly a possible threat to the safety of the children. Presently, Bailey Avenue has 3 homes for sale that are adjacent to the school. And they could also be included for Airbnb. Is the fact that some strangers are occupying unhosted Airbnbs of concern to you? Air bids are considered illegal in Plattsburgh, but realizing there were no rules for protection or guidance, have taken advantage of the situation, bombarding our established neighborhoods. No street, regardless of its location or deed restrictions, are protected. In March of this year, an email was sent to the mayor concerning a situation existing where a home on an R1 residential street was being purchased for the use of an Airbnb. Definitely a business for profit. All protected deeds on the street state the lot hereby conveyed shall not ever be used for commercial purposes, but shall be solely residential and for no other purpose. The mayor's response was he would forward it to the corporal council. Also mentioned was that they were working on it. 6 months later, in a long period between 2016 and 2019, when ordinances were on the books, we have not had a response. The zoning response was, we do not deal with deeds. That is a civil matter. We cannot sit on this for the benefit of our families, constituents, children, and voters. As of October 2019, Airbnb is not currently legal in the city of Plattsburgh, New York. This is due to a city ordinance that was passed in 2016, which prohibits short-term rentals in residential areas. Airbnb has been working with the city to try and overturn this ordinance, but so far has been unsuccessful. When I tried to get a copy of this, because I've written on the other one, I was told by the city clerk and zoning department they had no record of it. I have written a request for a further search for this information. Strictly Business is a local monthly magazine published by Herb Carpenter. I recently saw it, and I thought it could be a valuable tool to discuss, address, and solve problems in our city. Last month, 6 groups of 6 professional people met to discuss challenges that we face. Some of the common themes discussed were child care, cost, available affordable housing, and labor shortages. Short-term rentals will eliminate year-round living possibilities for families who want to work here, and we need these homes for full-time residents. This avenue might be used to get more information and to the challenges that face our city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address council on any topic?
Hello again. My name is Margaret Tulowski. I live at 8 Ridgewood Drive, Plattsburgh. I would like to point out some issues that are caused by Airbnb. 1, housing shortage. The city of Plattsburgh has declared a housing shortage for people trying to live and work in the city. Why not put a stop to people buying a city home for the sole purpose of running a business that makes them money but serves no benefit to the city? In every case, the home being purchased is not for permanent dwelling. Hotels are charged a hotel tax that the city benefits, but not Airbnb. Business. The practice of buying a second home or third home for business reasons affects our city school district. For example, if you have 15 or 20 Airbnbs in the city of Plattsburgh, that is 1 classroom, and that eliminates state aid for the school district. Safety concerns. Traffic increase, parking increase, children playing on their streets. The Airbnb business provides people traveling a place to stay. It does not provide the community development, connection, or any long-term financial benefit. The City of Plattsburgh Community Development Mission Statement is to improve the quality of life for all city residents by identifying and pursuing state and federal funded housing, economic development, public facilities, infrastructure, recreation, and community planning projects supported by city residents and other community organizations. As you can clearly see, I am thinking about the big picture of the city of Plattsburgh and its ability to grow and thrive with families belonging to the community and schools. The city government has spent a great deal of time on a lot of big issues, that affect our community. It is time to deal with this issue now. Running a business on a residential street should not be allowed by our city government. Thank you.
Leslie, thank you.
I'm Pam Brush and I live at 8 Adams Street. And I'm kind of in the same vein. If it's a safety issue, our street's really, really narrow. And Thursday, a huge tree came down at 16 Adams, snapped 2 poles, ripped the electric off my house and the house next door. And the fire trucks and MLB had an awful time getting down the street, and people had to, we had a lot of shared driveways as well. And people had to pull out and try to park. And there were 4 or 5 people at the DMV. And there's only one driveway, and they were asked to move their cars. I mean, it was a real mess. And it's like, there's just so much traffic, and now with one house and like 4 people staying there, I think they're, I don't know, nurses, traveling nurses maybe. But there's just, it's such a narrow street that it's really becoming a hazard, a safety hazard for people, and there's just no place to park. So, I would, hope you would address this issue. I just think it's a business in a residential area, and I don't think it's okay.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address the council on any topic?
So, Matt wants to meet Richard Drive. And basically, I just wanted to echo piggybacks on the comments that are already been made. And promote a little thinking on this subject. Airbnbs are very popular in that place and towns and states across America. But I don't think here in residential small town Plattsburgh, they're a good fit. For a lot of the reasons mentioned. And so if nothing more, maybe something will come out of this that will make people more aware of the pros and cons of the issue. And I know the city is trying to attract a hotel within the city limits, but if I were in the business of hotel industry and the Airbnb industry is going to take off the city plastic, that certainly would detract me from coming to the city plastic with a hotel idea. So why would a hotel want to come here if this is becoming such a popular idea that's going to grow and grow? Something else to think about regarding specifically 5 Ridgewood Drive. Apparently, it's not any violation of the R1 zoning residential single family policy. It's a residential neighborhood, but it's no longer a residence. So, to the simple mind, it's an Airbnb, that is not a residence. I would think that that would be in total violation of zoning laws here, because it is now a business on Ridgewood Drive, which is in violation of the R1 residential single family policy. The positives, when it comes down to positives and negatives, I can't think of many positives, maybe others can, but I see the individual property when we're benefiting at the expense of the community and the needs of the community. And some of the negatives which I mentioned here tonight, as you see in neighboring communities like Lake Placid, workers will eventually find it difficult to find places to live if they're too many Airbnbs in Lake Placid. That is the case of Lake Placid. Speaking to people that work in Lake Placid and live in Saranac Lake because there are some Airbnbs in Lake Placid. It was mentioned that schools suffer in terms of decreased enrollment. Just think of the trickle-down effects of that. It's unreal. Youth programs, fewer teachers are needed, fewer enrollment increases in our city schools. And how does that help our city community? I don't think it does. Family homes will be limited, making it more difficult for people to buy family homes. Youth sports programs will suffer. Youth development will suffer. Community development will suffer. They completely changed the dynamic of any residential neighborhood. And the only benefit that I can see to it is that is to the owner of the building. And I don't see where it benefits the needs of our city or the future of our city. So I strongly say I'm opposed to Airbnbs. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else would like to speak on to the council on any topic? We'll now go on committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor, and I will now call upon that chairperson of each committee, starting with city operations counselor now.
Our August meeting was canceled because we didn't have any resolutions to vote on. Our next meeting is going to be September 11th at 5 o'clock.
Thank you. Committee Development and Finance, the next meeting is 9/14 at 5 p.m. Items 7.164 is on the agenda for consideration. As well as noted that an email that I sent regarding the Finance Committee, which I missed. Thank you for covering that. Appreciate it. We are now currently in the budget process. Department head will be getting their budget sheets this week. We'll go through it like we did last year. Department heads will then come back, present their budget to the full council. Council will have opportunity to make suggestions, changes, additions, recommendations for the budget. Those will be brought back in partnership with the department heads. We'll make some changes, and then the budget will be delivered on or before October 8th. Infrastructure, city infrastructure, Councilor Kelly.
Well, as the agenda says tonight, we have a few items to consider. And then our next meeting is on September 5th. That has nothing to say.
Thank you, Councilor. Public Safety Councilor Bob's absent. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is August 21st at 5 p.m. We'll now move on to liaison reports. Councilor Moore.
We didn't have a meeting last month, but we will be having a meeting this month and next week on Tuesday. So I don't have anything to report. Thank you.
Plattsburgh Municipal Lighting Department, Councilor Gibbs.
Our next meeting is next Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Climate Smart Task Force liaisons, Councilor Gibbs and Ward Council.
No, we haven't met. We haven't had meetings in several months. Yeah, people are still dealing with summer vacations. And I believe there might be some interest in getting together for the Battle of Plattsburgh.
Mr. Stein, any staff member reports?
No report, but I do anticipate the need for an executive session, which we could conduct towards the end of the city.
Thank you. There are no special committee reports. I'll now report on the payrolls for the various city departments of the city of Plattsburgh approved by the Common Council for the week ending August 9th, 2023 in the amount of $618,986.46. And I'll also report on the bills audited by the Common Council for the weeks ending August 11th, 2023 in the amount of $5,703,270.63 and August 18th, 2023 in the amount of $1,070,831.38. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. We're now taking action on these items in large part due to the recommendation of those folks. Okay, item 7.158, authorized budget adjustment, general sewer water fund motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Bond, discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Bond?
Yes.
Councilor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilor Gibbs?
Yes.
Councilor Collins? Yes. Councilor Moore?
Yes,
Carried. 7.159, revising capital project H8130.67 revision, 2021 sanitary sewer motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Town, discussion.
Yeah, I had some questions. Is John in the audience?
Down not here, this is not. This is oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is public works.
Public works.
I just don't understand what is River Run slip line?
Okay, so River Run is what the short of the name, it's a breach of sewer, it's on across Main Mill Street down to Station 2 over on South Platte. And it's a section of sewer that we're having issues with. We created a capital project back in 2019. We've been monitoring this section, we've done some maintenance to it, but now it's time to support on it.
Okay. Right, thank you.
this is John. John.
That was my fault.
I'm thinking about that stuff. Yeah, with the slip line, will that decrease the capacity of this line?
It actually was. Right now, the capacity is greatly decreasing, we pulled roots out of there, I'd say probably 4 weeks ago, in excess of 6 inches. So. Overall, over the original pipe, it probably will decrease capacity of a fraction, but compared to what we have currently going on there. No, it's actually gonna increase performance.
What size is that, man?
It varies from 8 to 12. So it varies sizes.
Any further notes, sir?
So, what is that service?
It carries, you have under a trailer park. You pick up some of the sewer off of, Waterhouse Street. Hartwell. And so the residents on there, but it's, most of the trailer park is above the 100.
So there isn't a lot of storm drains into that.
No, not that we know of, and that's the other thing that we're gonna accomplish here. When we do this survey, we start by cleaning, we do a camera survey of the line. And that will tell us if there's any I or any unidentified clouds coming into it. At that time, because it is one of the older regions in the city.
Yeah, because I know we had an incident on St. Charles. It's very nice.
Yep.
So I was asking that question.
Yeah, that's what we're getting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Pelham.
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes,
Carried. 7.1, secure authorizing stipulation agreement with Clinton County Health Department. Motion, Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Bond, discussion.
Yes, I, no, wait, I have a number of questions. How are you doing?
Good.
So I printed out the stipulation agreement and it says in the matter of the finding of violation, yes, is this the first time we've been, written up, I guess, for violation with the health department regarding our water or?
There's always, items identified during their annual inspection. Some of them are improvements they suggest we make, some of them are regulatory requirements. Most all the things in this stipulated agreement are things we've known about and that we've already been taking action on. Probably the biggest one is the source capacity. As you know, we're constructing a well field out around Mead Reservoir so that we can ensure we have sufficient capacity supply and so that we can deal with the structural issues at the reservoirs dam. There's a bunch of other things that are listed in this agreement that we're already doing. It basically codifies with the health department, the actions we're taking. The big benefit is it allows us to, in our application for WIA grant and low interest financing, we get a lot more points towards the project and a much more likelihood of getting the grant and the low cost financing if we have some kind of stipulated agreement in place.
So, the agreement says that. Looking right up here. The fine portion of the stipulation is no fine will be assessed, provided that the required compliance schedule items listed on the next page are completed by the required dates listed. Failure to complete the required compliance schedule items by the required dates will require the health department to proceed to enforcement, including fines. So this document has a date on it and as a deadline that we are past. Are we going to be fined at all for being out of compliance with the August 1st deadline on this document?
No, and we are in compliance with those dates. We've done that work and submitted that
You are.
information already.
Okay.
Again, it was work that we're already doing. It's been in progress. And that's been submitted. So it's a good question.
So we're not going to be paying any penalties or fines?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
When we look at the second page of the stipulation agreement and under the section that's marked, the respondent agrees.
Yes.
Item number 3 of the agreement, I mean, I know you've been working on extra wells.
in this part, it says there continues to be concerns with Mead Reservoir due to the dam integrity. Based on visual observations of the site visit, the water level is approximately 10 feet below the spillway. And then it goes on to say, a well field in DWWIIA phases 1 and 2, additional wells, transmission lines, and system infrastructure are needed to fully resolve the situation. So you are already working on this and have been.
Correct. Yes, and I think the next item on the agenda is asking for more grant money and financing to continue this.
Yeah, I saw that. How many more wells are we going to need in order to be in compliance with everything that?
Well, there's compliance, and then there's what do we need and what can we get money for. So we're getting close to being in compliance and from an operational perspective and a resilience and robustness perspective. Depending on the yields of the wells, probably like to see at least 3, maybe 4 wells.
And how many are we currently working on?
We have one installed.
Mhm.
We have another one that we're hoping to construct very soon. And then the 2 more we're hoping to do in subsequent phases of the WIA grant and financing program.
How long do you think that's going to take?
The WIA grant financing program.
No, not the V and not grant. I'm talking about getting these other 3 to 4 wells up and running and operational and so forth.
So the first well, we're hoping to have operational sometime in the next 6 to 12 months.
Right.
Second well, hopefully 12 to 18 months. And then a third and fourth well will be contingent on whether we receive the WIA grant financing.
Right. Number 4 on this document says to continue to address items outlined in the 2023 sanitary survey report and provide a time frame for completion by August 1st for the following items: valve replacement, installation of rapid mixer, venturi pipe replacement, upgrade to grade walls and ceilings in the filter area, broken valve replacement at the city reservoirs. So what is the time frame? Because it says that you have to provide the time frame, but that is not included here.
Depends on the item, but that time frame has been provided to the health department. So we're in compliance with that item because we've provided that time frame.
For all of these A through E?
For all of those, we provided a time frame. Item B, installation of a rapid mixer, and item E, broken valve replacement. Those are expected by the end of this calendar year. That's work that's presently being planned and hopefully implemented in the near future. The valve replacement and venturi replacement are much larger projects, and they are scheduled to be done in conjunction with financing in the WIA application that we just made. So the time frame that was presented to the health department is out a couple of years on that. That's not high critical items that need to be done right now. They're more contingent upon the financing being available. The degraded walls and ceilings in the filter area, that's out a couple of years also. They're all buildings. There's always stuff going on. We're always doing repairs and doing maintenance. But whether or not a large scale project is needed is going to be contingent upon the work in item 6 further down, which is the study of the building evaluation and assessment. So once that building evaluation and assessment is complete, which the health department is asking that be done by the end of this year, then we'll know what the extent of improvements are. And we can provide an additional schedule on how we're going to implement those improvements to finance them.
So number 5 on the document and 6, it talks about hiring a licensed professional engineer and submitting a plan to the health department by August 1st to address any potential elevated manganese and iron in drinking water, which occurred last fall, as we know. Have we done that already? Hired the licensed professional engineer? Is this considered?
Yes, it's done. The report's complete. It's been submitted and reviewed.
Is that CDM Smith? Is that who we're?
Yeah, they happen to be worked on.
Oh, okay, so that's CDM Smith.
It's one of the projects that are doing for us.
Okay. Number 7 on the document says to conduct an operational evaluation and submit a written report by December 31st, 2023. The evaluation must include an examination of system treatment and distribution practices. It goes on to talk about Changes or problems that may contribute to TTHM and HAA5 formation. What are those acronyms for?
TTHM is total trihalomethanes. HAAC is haloacetic acids. There's five.
Well, that's supposed to be a C.
What?
That's a five.
HAA5, it's
Okay.
haloacetic acid. There's five different haloacetic acids. And both the TTHMs and the HAA5s are what are called disinfection byproducts. We use chlorine for disinfection. When you add chlorine to anything, but water in particular, it reacts with whatever in there. The raw water happens to have natural organics in it, among other things, and the chlorine will react with that and form these disinfection byproducts. There's a limit on the amount of disinfection byproducts you can have in your water. We're below that limit, but sometimes they're high enough to where the health department wants us to pay closer attention than one might normally, and to do an evaluation and make sure that we don't get into a situation where we're going to exceed the standards that are in place.
So under the Clinton County Department of Health agrees, so they've got their list of things here.
Which part of it?
I'm still on the same document, so it's page 2 of the document that's called the stipulation agreement, and under the heading it says the Clinton County Department of Health agrees, and then it gives 3 items.
Right.
And number 3, that a compliance inspection will not be conducted until 30 days have elapsed from the date of service of the finding of violations, unless a complaint is received or other circumstances that require an inspection sooner than 30 days. What is this?
I believe that's the typical one, like language that they stick in there, but
So
it's
they-
basically giving them the right to take action. If they need to, at a time sooner than the stipulated agreement might actually specify, if they feel it's necessary.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it.
In the document that is titled City of Plattsburgh Water District 2023 Sanitary Survey Report. Under the category, it says findings and corrective action required.
Mhm.
It lists a number of things. Item number 3, the emergency backup generator is undersized. A replacement generator will be installed as part of the grant. So that is something that is going to be part of that larger amount, that 8 point something, I think it's 8.7 million that you're applying for. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is going to
actually,
be.
no, it's actually in, so the 8.7 million you see in the next item, that's phase 3 of
Yes.
the, what we call colloquially, the WEA improvements. We've got grant awards and financing in place for phases 1 and 2 already. Phase 2 of the WEA award provides for this emergency backup generator.
Okay, and then number 4 of the same place, it says the water treatment plant is degraded and needs repairs. It says at a minimum, the city needs to submit dates for repairs and upgrades to the health department by July 1st for the following. And so those items are A through G. Has obviously that must have been submitted to the health department. It's got a deadline on here. They want.
Yeah, most of that, but the stipulated agreement actually supersedes whatever dates are in this sanitary survey.
Okay.
So stipulated agreement dates of August 1st in some cases, or December 31st and other will supersede that sanitary survey. But bottom line is, we're satisfied with the health department's looking for, and they seem to be pleased with what we've done and what we're doing.
But it says they're looking for you to submit dates for these repairs, and it gives the list. So have you provided that to them?
Yes,
Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you're saying you provided to the health department, the council needs to see the deadlines, the due dates, and so forth. So, for example, the respondent agrees, we talked about item 4, A through E. We said you've done that. I'm just giving that as an example. The council needs to see the deadlines, the due dates, all of that information. Because I think that's important information for us to have. I think that's all the questions I have, Jeff. I know you had some questions.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that quite frankly, I'm outraged by the fact that an outside agency had to come in and point out the deficiencies in our water system. That water system takes care of the water supply from the city, and it should be of utmost importance. We should not have somebody else have to come in and tell us where we're deficient. I was especially upset with that we didn't have proper flow through the Mead Reservoir, and that algae was going in there. was a big chemical problem with our water. Where we had precipitate coming out of there, we all had brown water. This should not happen. Somebody's not minding the store. We need to take care of our important systems. We shouldn't have to have the county come in here and tell us what we aren't doing. These are pretty serious things. So I'm just saying, I would expect that we would do a better job of our water supply, which affects everyone in the city and all the visitors in the city. So to me, I'm very upset that we haven't taken care of these things already, that no one should have had to point this out to us. That's my point.
I'll say, I definitely share your perspective that our water system is extremely important. I don't agree with most of the other perspectives you just provided. In particular, the work that the health department cited here is work that we identified that we were already doing. All they did was codify it to make sure that it happened, even though it's in progress, and to give us the points we needed on the rehab.
My point is, it should have been done before now, not wait for somebody to give us a boot.
No, I think you're reading it the wrong way. This work was in progress. They came in after the fact and basically said, oh, that work you're doing is great, exactly what we wanted to see. And
That's not what they said in their letter.
no,
Okay,
that's
that's
what
all I want to say.
Any further discussion? Yes, Council Kevin.
John, I'm sorry you were subjected to this. We shouldn't be here to chastise the person who's in charge of the water department. And I apologize for that on behalf of the entire council. This is not
No need to
your,
apologize.
If you're not apologizing.
Councilors,
this is not your problem.
councilors. Sorry, please, okay. The floor was
Doesn't happen to you.
Councilor Kelly. Councilor, please order, please, folks. They yielded the floor so people can have discussion. People have got varying different opinions. They might not agree with you, might not agree with other people. Please just, I think it's just respectful discussion. Might be different opinions. Please continue. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor to approve item 7.160. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. 7.161 authorizing water system grant and financing application under the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act of 2023. Motion by Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Barnes,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Moore.
Yes,
Carried. Item 7.162 authorizing instrumentation services for the WRRF and WFP bid award recommendation for contract number WRRF 2023-04. Motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Talon, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Barnes,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried. Item 7.163 authorizing Hayes and Organics Management Plan change order. Motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Talon, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Barnes,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried. Item 7.164 authorize addition to the city's enterprise business system units for the fixed asset module and for the data conversion of the city's obsolete fixed asset records for uploading to the unit system database. Motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Talon, discussion. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the city of Plattsburgh manages our fixed asset system, separate from Munis. There were some changes to the Munis system to be able to manage our fixed asset through that business application, which we manage the entire city financial position from. This this will add that module to Munis as well as pay for the uploading and scrubbing of data into that system. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Barnes,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried. Item 7.165 authorized budget adjustments order. Motion. Councilor Bond, second, Councilor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Collins. Yes. Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carried. Item 7.166, travel request public works on. Councilor Town, second, Councilor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Collins.
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Item 7.167, authorize the mayor to sign a new 5-year agreement 2023 through 2028 between the Unified Court System UCS and the City of Plattsburgh for court cleaning and minor repairs contract C300514 motion. Councilor Kelly, second. Councilor Bond, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Collins. Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carried. I'll now entertain a motion to enter executive session for the purposes of discussion pending litigation. Motion. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you. Counselor. Please take notice that the city of Plattsburgh will hold a public hearing on Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 5 p.m. at the City Hall Council Chambers on the second floor, 41 City Hall Place, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901, City of Plattsburgh, for the purposes of hearing final public comment on the final draft 2023 comprehensive plan for the city of Plattsburgh ahead of its proposed adoption. A copy of said plan in its final draft format is available for review at the office of the clerk and the Plattsburgh Public Library during the normal business hours. The City of Plattsburgh City Hall is accessible to persons with disabilities, those with hearing impairments, or those in need of translation from English. Those individuals should contact Alicia Bartlett at 518-563-7642 at least 1 week in advance of the hearing date to allow for the necessary arrangements. Please, written comments may also be submitted to Alicia Bartlett, Senior Planner, 41 City Hall Place, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901, until September 1st, 2023. The public hearing date is set Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 5 p.m. I'll now entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss purposes of pending litigation. That's my Councilor Moore, second Councilor Gibbs. All in favor?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Bye.
Yeah, for the next step of the answer. Thank you. All right, we did lose the counselor. Sorry, we did lose the counselor. Counselor Talon needed to be excused during executive session. There was no action taken during executive session. I'm now entertaining a motion to exit executive session. Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Kelly, all in favor. We're now out of executive session. Is there any new business coming for this council? Yes, Counselor Bonner.
As a member of the public safety, I would like the topic of the Airbnb to be put on to Mondays, this coming Monday's public safety meeting. Please.
Yeah. I'll have Joe provide an update of the work that he's been doing. And our general meeting and both are working together on that, along with a number of other regulatory items focused specifically on housing and housing concerns. So, sorry. I will have Joe come again and discuss that in some detail. As well as provide some clarification on maybe misunderstandings of what was said earlier, particularly on occupancy tax for Airbnbs and a moratorium or some type of ban on Airbnbs. Any other new business coming from this council?
Based on what we've read and what we've heard from the public, I would think that the proper thing to do in the city is to ban Airbnb. That's my opinion. But that's what I would advocate, and if there's resolution to do that, or a local law or whatever it takes, I would be very much in favor of that.
Thank you. Any other new business coming to this council? Seeing none, any motion to adjourn, motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bond, in favor?